na ito. So documentation ano siya?
Yeah.
Have you ever done a podcast before?
Yeah. Ganun. For podcast, audio.
Ako ay you're a former radio broadcaster.
Yeah. Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. How long ago?
For
Taon-taon na.
mga 6-7 years ago.
7 years ago. So, starting this, no, as a content creator, sige try new things. So, I'm starting this kanang title na ko is Podcast on the Go.
Mm-hmm.
Kaya wa mo ko'y venue, kanilang dadon lang on the go.
It could
Set
be
up.
anywhere.
It can be
As
anywhere.
long as
So, as
quiet.
mingaw lang.
Yeah.
Yeah, klaro ra ni sa audio. No. So, we have here Mr. Balbino
Guerrero.
Balbino. Mas man ako ikaw na ni i-link imong Twitter, imong
Yeah. You could link it all. Twitter, Instagram. Facebook.
link it all.
Yeah.
So muna siya, podcast on the go, by Vernon Go. Technically, you're the second guest.
Okay.
So, na. Or siya, episode 0, ganina si Camille.
Informal.
Ikaw lang,
We're just testing it
testing
out.
pa man ito, no?
Yeah.
Pang bukas ko ba? Baka ni mahog yun siya, murag debut episode 1 with Balbino Guerrero.
Okay.
So, first, murag getting to know with the listeners or the viewers. Unsa man imong origin story?
I'm Balbino Guerrero. And I'm Negrense by birth, Cebuano by choice, Ilocano by heritage. So let us cut into it. I was born in the middle of the sugarcane plantation in Samparol, Tanhay, Negros Oriental. Our house is situated right in the middle of about 400-500 hectares of sugarcane field. So if you stand by our house, all you could see is sugarcane field. Of course, on the edge are coconuts. So it's sugar and coconut. Unang sweet ko. My great grandfather is from Badok, Ilocos Norte, this same place where Juan Luna lives. In fact, the house in Badok, when I'm going to visit, when I go visit my relatives, they always put me on that particular room because by the window I could see the house of Luluwan. We're social climbing. We call all of our cousins called Juan Luna Luluwan. Just a block away is the house of Juan Luna. That's where my great grandfather, my grandfather lived, and unfortunately I did not able to get some Ilocano because we were born in Negros. My father doesn't speak Ilocano anymore. It's only my grandfather, and
Because they migrated from
immigrated from Ilocos to Negros Oriental. And I went to Cebu on an invitation of a cousin because the husband of my cousin is said to be assigned in Guangzhou, China. And since there's nobody else to be there in the house, so she invited me to come over and stay. And I came to Cebu in age is showing. I came to Cebu in 97, and thereafter I have I hop from one job to another. Actually, I don't
freelancer.
No, I don't really need the job. I just apply because boring. ang tuyo lang yun at kasin nga naa makuyog sa ilang balay. And I started as a steward at Cebu Plaza Hotel. Dig that out, steward. Tighugas o plato. I also work at the Rustans as gourmet sales clerk at the gourmet and liquor department. Section where we sell wines and chocolates, and then I do some network, multi-network marketing.
Open-minded ka pa?
Open-minded.
Yeah, but these are the early days network marketing,
okay. So
wherein
it's
you
not
really have a
sell.
product to sell. Unlike today, today that they're just selling
But
the network.
But
Not
did you still use the same term, which is like...
no, we don't have we
There's no Facebook then.
no, because back then in network marketing is that you're selling the product, and
It's more direct marketing.
yeah, you sell the product and you tell the people, oh, for you to be able to save, join the network, because if you join the network, you get the rebates, you get the price at the supply
Cheaper.
at the cheaper
Or a wholesale value.
or wholesale value. So, and then you get the benefits that you could get from the network. That's how network marketing back then. So
Yeah.
you don't have to ask people,
join.
are you open-minded? No, because you're going to sell them the product. The product would sell for itself, and without naming names, those products are health supplement, and they really had a promising. They really work because
You tried them?
it helps your immune system and everything. So that's the product makes the network, not the network makes the product out of thin air. Then in 2002, there was this lady, a friend of mine. I used to listen to DYAB, Abanti Bisaya. There's a radio program by Nick Ampatin called Subuan. It's called Cebu by Night. And it talks about anything, everything under the sun, be it occult, be it science, and mostly it's user generated, crowdsourced. So you call call in, phone in.
You ask
Yeah,
questions.
you ask questions, or you share something what you learn. And me sharing everything that's how my night would. There's no Facebook there's no Facebook back then, so I call in the radio. There was this one lady who is a practicing tour guide, invited me. Could you join in one of my tours? So I joined. Ala, libre magkaon, libre suroy. So
Like this, no? Free food.
I keep on joining, and eventually she said that
You learn the craft.
Did not just learn the craft, I love it. And then she said that
You discovered your calling?
she said that you try to check with Department of Tourism. They're offering a seminar.
Certification.
Yeah, a basic tour guiding seminar. The seminar was October 1 to 23, 2002. That was 17 days.
Wow.
No working lunch, long hours seminar. We cramped because supposedly the seminar module is a month, and then it was cramped into 17 days.
Why?
To lower the cost.
Okay.
To lower the
Makes
because
sense.
because you have to, if you make it 1 month, you have to pay for your lunch and snacks. So it was cramped into 17 days, and it was really like back-breaking seminar. And then I practice guiding. initially I do the bus tour, but one friend of mine said that, Bino, you should look for your USP. Pag agin ako sa Linas Drive, kita ko USP. I thought it was that. Yes, I found my USP. USP, he said, is unique selling point. I took up history in college. I took up history, Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, history as my major, and then also I was also invited. One time I was also invited as a guest for a radio show by then Amit Quizon, now LTFRB director, LTFRB director, to guest in his once a week radio show. I went on one Sunday and went back every Sunday thereafter for 4 years or so. So that
As a guest.
I became a regular. I became a regular.
Regular
Yes.
broadcaster, regular
So,
guest.
yeah. So that pushes me closest to the heritage that now I am living and loving. So dito na nagsugod ang heritage work, and of course the tour guiding is not contradictory to heritage work. So I specialize on heritage tours. I specialize in church.
So can you be considered like a historian as well?
I'm a little bit awkward with the term historian, because historian are
Researchers or
no,
scholars?
historians are
Bookish.
purely academic.
Okay.
I'm more of a historian. My story, your story, his story. I'm more of a
Storyteller.
storyteller rather than the historian is too heavy a
Documenter.
word, and this is the realm of academician, and I'm not giving my guests academic history, because they don't come here to learn. Tourist doesn't come to learn. They come for the experience. And from the experience comes the learning. So let them experience. Let them experience, because when they experience something, they learn. And I have a problem. With how history is being taught. Because
Memorization.
the problem is, if we will have a survey, most likely people would tell that history is a boring subject. Why? Because you had a boring history teacher. Because history is the books is thrown at you. Okay, Vernon, go. Read chapter 1 to 2, summarize, report tomorrow. And your course is nursing. And you are asked to memorize Rizal.
So,
One
social
time I had, without naming the name of the school, there was a school there were students who came to my office and asked if they could shoot, because they are to shoot a film about Rizal. And they are medical technology students. I mean, hello, if
School
I am
system
to
is
teach
flawed.
history to medical students, I will ask them to research about the medical history,
Something related.
the history of the germs in the Philippines, how the history of cholera in the Philippines.
Yes.
That will be more related to their
Related.
subject. I mean,
It's more impactful.
Yeah. Or how is Rizal as a doctor?
Yes.
Make an easy about how is Rizal as a doctor. Because I mean the life of Rizal, and they
Sense
are
of polymath.
yeah. And when I ask them what are their storyline, they're going to shoot in my office the courtship of Rizal and Josephine Bracken. I mean that has nothing to do with medical technologies.
Yes.
Maybe the practice of Rizal as a
Doctor.
medicine man,
Yeah.
as a doctor, that
More
could
relevant.
be
Did you
relevant.
suggest that to them?
I told them that who is your teacher? Oh my God! Why are you taught like this? These teachers, these professors are making people hate history.
Yeah.
Because may ka nga, ay sapat ako maestro, nahagbong ko sa akong kwan because I devoted much time in making the film about the courtship of Josephine Bracken and Rizal. And that has nothing to do with microbiology.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have research about the General Luna. General Luna was a microbiologist. He was a doctor
Before a general.
he became a general. That would be interesting. So, if you want to make people love history, you have to let them see how interesting history. See how Rizal is presented. May I present one portion of Rizal? Since we talk about the courtship. Jose Rizal was torpe. You won't believe he was torpe because of his many girlfriends.
Many girlfriends.
But on the onset, he was torpe. Who was the true love of Jose Rizal? Who?
Leonor?
Yeah, Leonor Rivera.
I still know my history.
Yeah, from
I'm just listening.
Binyan, and Rizal is from Calamba. Every time Rizal would be in front of Leonor, Rizal cannot tell. And at the back of the mind of Leonor would say, Pepe, ako pa ba ang mangliligaw sa iyo? Shall I court you? Eventually, Leonor Rivera is set to marry a guy she doesn't love. Jose Rizal was able to muster enough courage to go in front of Leonor and tell Leonor, wag kang
Hello.
Leonor, wag kang pupunta sa binyan at magpakasal sa lalaking hindi mo mahal. Ako ang tunay mong mahal. Ako ang tunay mong mahal. Mag-aantay ako sa iyo sa sangandaan. At dadalhin kita sa Calamba. So, Leonor went home to Binyan. On her way, she was so excited to meet Rizal in the Sangandaan, the crossroads between Binyan and Calamba. Upon arriving at the crossroad, there was no Pepe. There was no Rizal.
So he got scared again.
I don't know what happened to Pepe. So, she went
Broken hearted.
to the
Kalamba.
she went to Binyan
Okay.
and married a guy she doesn't love. But before going to the church, he get the box, open it, take all the content of the box and lit it. It was the love letter of Jose Rizal, born, and the ashes were sown in the trail of her wedding gown. And when she was walking towards the altar to marry the guy that she doesn't love, the love story of Leonora and Rizal weather her ways to pinalid sa hangin ng kalimut. Now, if the class is being
Taught like that.
taught like that, would you absent tomorrow? No. You would definitely come back. So, that's why I also incorporated it the way I conduct my tours. I do not give them historism. They don't came here to learn. let them experience. So let them, and then make history,
Interesting.
tweak it, make it, deliver it in a way it's fun, because humor humanizes discussion. And kung magsugod na gani ka sa humor, masayop ka, imo ra nang ikatawa.
Yes, yes.
Kay sugod kag serious ka kayo, pagkasayop
Awkward.
nimo,
It's awkward.
wala na kay room for mistake. Because serious man ka nga, kung ang kayo academic kayo man discussion, pero kung nagsugod ka o nagsugod ka sa humor, makayon naman tayo mong guest, ay nagbinuang raman to siya. Ay
Joke.
nagkuhan raman. Joke man to
Joke.
niya nga. Kuan. Ay gituyo man to niya. Bisag, ako ra ba ka ng akong kuan? Ako ra ba ka na akong mga pronunciation usay, mangluag ba? So, inig ka luag sa imong pronunciation, makayon rato imong guest, nagbinuang rato, part rato siya yung binuang. So, you could have a more leeway, and then make it fun, make it enjoyable, because you would remember most of your lesson. You remember are the fun one.
Yes.
Katong mga seryoso kayo, malimtan to siya nimo. So smart, kalimot ra jud ko na. Kanang cosine, sine, sus. Arang-arang kabalo ra kog arithmetic. Basic sayon makaya na
Yeah.
1 plus 1, 2 plus 2.
For survival in society, okay ra na.
Pag-abot na sa geometry, sa algebra, tining x, unsaon ning x? Walo ka sir, mupo na ta sir, kalimtan ng x, kanana na siya y. Di na pangitaon. Or my favorite answer is, if x is minus 1, what we're going to do with y? Change y to I, add es. Kanang if tour guiding involves so much math, I will not be around for that long. I've been guiding since 2002. How long have been?
17 years.
More or less.
18, 17.
More or
Until
less.
now?
Plus the training.
I'm still. Although I'm now currently working with the city government, but every now and then I also guide, especially for guests from the
How many years na?
17, 18 years.
especially guests of the Cebu City government. So make it a little bit fun.
History
And-
rant right there.
Yeah, and people would appreciate more history, and they would love to see it more. One thing I had like really kanang good vibes kaayo, nindot kay nga feel when I was asked to guide for the United Architects of the Philippines. They had a convention, and we went to the south, and I was discussing church architecture to architects. I mean, they are not just the koan kanang architecture student. They are practicing. They are the likes of architect Fewala, architect Maxwell Espina. They're the who's who of
Architecture.
architecture. And there was I never had any units of architecture in college discussing
Architecture.
architectural history to them. And one of the architects said, I only appreciate architectural history later on, kay katuko nilang maestro din o kaayo kuan. So sometimes it's the teachers of history are intelligent, but they are not they don't have the art of transferring the knowledge.
Yes.
Because
agree.
I
Same
would
with,
go for
with engineering. Same with engineering.
I would go for an average teacher, but he has an A in the art of transferring the knowledge.
Yeah.
Because acquiring knowledge is one thing, being knowledgeable,
Another thing.
that's but being able to
Transfer.
transmit the knowledge, that's another thing. So tingala ka, a student man niya siya, Dean's Lister man niya siya, pero in klase niya, boring kay. Ang iyahamang kong mindset, ang iyang mindset, nakakuan nga, muni akong intellectual level. Kinahanglan, maabot mo din
So the
dapita.
students need to adjust.
Oh, hindi. Ikaw mo adjust sa estudyante and you have to break down all the lessons.
Make
to
it
be
simpler.
Get it simpler.
So you talked about, that's the origin story of Balbino. So what sa present? So you talk about your work in the Cebu City.
I joined Cebu City government early last year, February 6 last year. At the
As a
cultural
tour guide or
no,
a consultant?
No, as a regular, as employed by
Okay.
casual employee of the Cebu City government. I am in the Cultural and Historical Affairs Office. I am currently doing now cultural mapping. Cultural mapping is an inventory of all the cultural properties of the city. It's an ongoing project which I now
Owned
have.
by the city or just documenting that's the
Oh,
cultural
no.
properties? That's not
Everything within the jurisdiction of Cebu City. So
even the
everything.
private ones?
Yeah, but we have to ask permission. Like if your house qualifies as a heritage house, any built structure that is 50 years old and above are already considered heritage house. So if you own a heritage house,
What do you do?
we ask permission
To get it registered.
to have it listed in the registry, and we submit it into the registry is being submitted at the Philippine Cultural Registry Office under the NCCA, and once your house is registered, you get a protection under the Heritage Act of 2009.
So what happens if they sell it or they develop it?
There is if the house is registered and the state could intervene,
Okay.
like the destruction of the house, and if some of the
It's commercialized.
no, like say for example, you have a ancestral house. One part of your family wanted to destroy it, another
Yes.
part of the family wanted to preserve it. Once it is registered as a cultural property under the PRECOP, you could use that registry to fight those who wanted
okay.
to destroy the house. So you could now the people who want to preserve the house can have a mantle of protection under the heritage law of the Heritage Act of 2009.
So if it's still, if let's say it's destroyed regardless, the ones who destroyed it can be sued by the state?
Yeah, there's a provision for that.
So if they registered it and they decided to sell it, they have to ask permission from the state?
Not necessarily, but it would add premium. That's a problem with us because we don't
Put value.
put value to things
Historical
that are old.
properties.
In other countries like in Europe, they have this blue dot. Any house that has a blue dot, it's of cultural or historical significance. The house of Jose Rizal, the apartment where Jose Rizal lived in anywhere in Europe, has a blue dot. So the blue dot is a big blue dot and it has caption on it. So this is the house where Karl Marx lived. This is the house where this is where the house where Jose Rizal lived. And it add value to the real property. So if you're selling a house, if you're renting that apartment for 10,000 ano 1,000 euro, and if that's a blue dot, you could rent it to 2,000 or
okay.
2,500 because that's of cultural or historical significance. And there are provisions that you could
Are we
not
doing
alter.
that here? No.
No. How I wish we could do that here. So we are still in the process of inventory. It's a long journey, it's a long process.
But mostly in Cebu City one.
Because this is a
The
project of
jurisdiction,
this is the project of the city. So where as of the moment we are still on the intangible. These are very difficult. The tangible ones are easy to map
Buildings
because
and
these are
houses.
buildings, houses.
What are examples?
Intangibles are the practices.
Okay.
Tuli, the rituals and everything. Those are kind of difficult to map, and we're concentrating on it. And then we also have flora and fauna, everything, natural. Like we have about 27 categories.
Waterfalls.
Yeah, there are 27 forms or categories
for
that
documentation.
are being documented. So, built heritage,
Architecture.
man-made, natural, flora and fauna, knowledge of the universe. Something like
What about family trees? Not really.
No, family trees are more personal rather than but I have several collection of Cebuano family trees. But that's another area.
Not under your jurisdiction.
Yeah. That's another.
Kirado?
Yeah, okay. That's another area. And also we're doing there are a lot of things to be done. We're engaging the artists. We're going to celebrate this February the Arts Week. There are line up of activities in cultivating the art scene of Cebu.
Music and also movies.
We have
I think we used to have like a lot of movies in the pre-World War.
we have a lot of Cebuano film is kind of resurrecting.
Resurging, yeah.
There's a renaissance of
Re-emergence.
Re-emergence of the Cebuano film. We have a lot of good Cebuano
see that?
film.
Bisaya ba tong animation sa Facebook? You see
There
that?
is
Which one?
Which one?
There's a natoy like an animation created locally. Like I have to check again.
Yeah.
Was it in Cebu or Canton?
I think Cebu. Most people who shared it ay mga Cebu man.
There is
Ay,
yeah.
was it the RPG Metanoia? No.
No, animation.
Animation.
Looks like an anime, but it's not anime.
Also there's a group now that are very active in doing indie films.
Binisaya.
Mga binisaya. There's it's now moving, so I'm quite happy. The visual art is always there. We have a very strong
Artists. Artistic
yeah.
tendencies.
We have a very strong movement in the visual art. We just have a little bit of problem. We lack collectors
Saan sa art?
Anything.
for
Okay.
paintings. So because this feeds the artist.
Yes.
I mean, whether we like it or not, artists gets hungry. they cannot buy paints, and Accolades doesn't buy paints, so they had to have money, and money is being provided by the collectors. So I hope people would try to collect. Imagine if you buy an iPhone X now, how much is an iPhone X now?
60, 100
60, 100.
K.
Yeah. If you buy
Local art.
a
Painting.
Wilfredo Cañete or a Boy Briones or a Celso Pipito or a Jesse Rona for, say, 40,000. And iPhone X is may 40,000.
Yeah, ang iPhone older
Sige.
models.
iPhone nga 40,000. After 2 years,
Gonna depreciate.
maabot na lang, mapalit na lang na ni mong 10. But your Jesse Rona, your Celso Pipito, your Boy Camco would not go down.
What will go up?
You buy it 40, it will appreciate. Labi na gyud mamatay ang artist. Musamot na kamahal.
I'm gonna paint.
Umanay koan kay once mamatay ang artist, di naman na mabalik, di naman na niya mausob. So mahimo na siya nga unique. So
Wait,
mamahal.
talaga.
But I'm not wishing koan ha. I'm not wishing Celso, Jesse. No. I'm not wishing
That's just
koan.
the trend.
Yeah, but that's koan nga. You have to collect art and try start small. There are small artworks by koan. Yan indot gani og mopalit kag artwork from a budding artist. Kay nga no,
It's me.
kanang when
I
you
used to sketch.
when you buy kanang artworks from a budding artist, makakip kapag kadugay ana mahimo naman to siya ko ana may no, there's a koan, there's a premium on koan, these are the earlier works of Vernon Go. I bought it, and then your collection as soon as the artist progress in his craft, you would katusad mo appreciate to tong value.
Especially if you go viral, di ba?
Yeah.
Today, you become famous.
Mo naman na ron ang kuan key to kuan magpa-viral raman ka haron kang kuan haron kang ma-famous. So it's a worthy investment. I think I have few.
But when do you sell it? For who? Or maybe to sell it to foreigners, maybe.
No.
Because it's an investment.
Yeah, if you keep it there comes a time that people would start buying it or looking for it. It's
It's a market in itself.
Yeah. It's like buying land. Land would always appreciate, it would not depreciate. So, but also you have to keep it, if you keep
Good condition.
you have to keep it
Safe.
safe because makuan sad mo maguba sad ang paintings kung di na nimo mo kuanon. Di na nimo akatara.
Preserve.
Yeah. I mean, these are what I hope millennials would think rather than buying a phone that would depreciate in 2 years' time. Na nga. So, as long as your phone it could still work, as long as the phone company or the makers of the phone will not make you an app that will not make an update that makes your phones
Obsolete.
go slower, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you have the latest or, I mean, my iPhone 6, my Samsung 6 is still working.
Yes, even my iPhone 6.
Is still working, even though I love to have I love to go to
Faster
Samsung 8, but I cannot afford it. So
Buy art.
buy art. I have about 5 or 6 artworks already in my collection.
For how many years have they stayed with you? Different.
Yeah.
5 years, 10 years?
But most there I also have collection that are not that I will not be able to sell. Maybe when I die, because it's a sketch of me.
So you had an artist do a sketch of you.
Yes, I had.
Is it naked or no?
Oh, I wish I could pose naked, but before they could paint, they might puke.
More Titanic.
Yeah. Oh, would you like to pose naked? No, it's for we are looking for models.
No.
Volunteer models.
Yes. And it's not limited to ladies.
Mm.
It's so if you're interested, PM me.
Self-portraits.
Yeah.
Pero how long you have to sit, no?
A long time.
Long time. It's
It's a skill.
no. There was one artist who was asked, "What's the difference between nude and naked?" What's the difference between naked and nude?
Spelling.
No.
Nude is probably more, I don't know, it sounds less.
In the absence of lust, it's nude.
Mm. Okay.
So it's naked, but the absence of lust. Look at this. Picture a boobs of a lady. It's always erotic.
Mm.
Whether from what angle a boobs is erotic. Put a child into it and eroticism is gone.
Mm.
Because you would see the
Child.
kanang
The
the
context.
maternal
Different
ins-
context.
yeah. It would had another context. So put a child into it, gone is the erotic. So nudes are naked with the absence of lust. So if you look at a naked person and it arouses you, that's naked.
Mm.
But if it's
It's
it
artistic.
kung di ka ma-arouse, that's nude.
Mm.
Because there's no lust in it. It's an art form.
Something new.
Mm.
So I have a question. No? In the previous podcast, or like after ba to?
What, that?
Like we talked about the Parian.
Yeah.
Was it a river?
I
or
think that was before.
before?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was before.
Before the podcast was recorded. How big was that river? Because now it's
The Parian is now a sewage canal. But in the early days, the Parian is, we are a sea people. We are a water people. Whether we like it or
based
not,
on the name of Cebu.
Filipino. No, not just Cebu, Filipinos. We are
Archipelago.
water people. You are Tagalog because you are taga Ilog.
Mm.
You are Kapampangan because you live in Pangpang,
Mm. Cliffs.
riverbank.
Riverbank.
Ilaya is upstream, Ilaud is downstream. We are sea people, we are water people, we are river people, we eat
Water
rice. Rice is a water plant.
Yes.
We eat fish with fish.
Fish. What?
Isda, ituslog nimo sa patis.
Patis.
Kadang rofina. That's fish
Oil.
sauce.
Fish sauce.
So, we built our houses on stilts.
Mm.
Because we let
Flood.
during flood, the water would just pass by underneath the houses. Parian made Colon Street.
Mm.
They said Colon is the oldest street in the Philippines. It was just made by Parian River because the Colon Street runs parallel to
That's why there's
The-
flood in Colon.
that's
What you?
yeah, that's why there's flood in Colon
Now
because
we know.
we choke the
I'm gonna cut this.
Okay.
Notice. You go in Colon, It rains for an hour, you have flood. When the rain stop, wait for 30 minutes, flood is gone. Why? Because the water, the exit is just being blocked. It's not unlike in other areas where 2 months, 3 months, the water will not survive. That's really a big problem. Flood in Colon is not that big. The problem in the flood in Colon is not that big. You just have to open it up
So that the water will flow faster.
and let the water go faster. Let the water drain. Because ang kulang lang yun niya, exits tubig. Because before, there are old pictures that people are sailing their casco. Casco are smaller boats that would meet the junk in the Cebu harbor, the junk from China, and then they meet this with the smaller boat. They go there, unload the cargo, and the cargo is brought to Parian. That's why Parian was the marketplace in the early days. It became silted. The boat could not navigate easily in Parian, so trade moved to the waterfront area, to Lutaw. That's why now Carbon Market is the commercial district, because the trading that happens in Parian moved to closer to the sea, because you can no longer bring the trade items via the casco. That makes the Parian area, that pushes the Parian area into a residential area, and the commercial went to Magallanes, went closer to so it's big. It could be navigated, and then the boat would go into the Parian and then unload their cargo at the back portion of that houses lining Colon Street, and then they sell their items on Colon Street. That's why if you look at old pictures of old houses in Colon, there is tayamtam owning. There are roof over the sidewalk, and that is where the tayamtam are being used as their stores to sell. And then this is the Chinese way, the shop, and then house of taas.
So we used to have like a river market.
Yeah, that's a river. Parian is a river.
See, like Vietnam, right? A river
Not
market.
as big
Not as big.
as Pasig, but still a river. But now it's a sewage canal.
Unfortunately.
Sad.
Now
That's why it re-emerges on Colon Street. The river re-emerges on Colon
Because it
Street.
was raining earlier, but that's why I asked him,
Yes.
nagbaha pa.
Yeah, the water would always go to its. You could not fight nature. That's why.
That's why nasang.
That's our problem.
It's reclaimed.
It's reclaimed. It's part of the sea before, so the
Like,
water
that's
will
why.
You cannot
that's
stop
why.
nature.
You cannot stop nature. You cannot fight
why.
nature. You have to adjust to nature. Hindi naman, ay, ang ganda mo te, ang nature pa mag-adjust sa'yo. Sino ka?
So now, human,
Last part.
future, no? Diba? Past, present.
Yeah.
Talk about your past, the present, and the future. So the future, like, what are your future plans, or like, if you still have like a big ambition that you strive to, if you can share that.
No,
You're living your
I'm no longer
ambitious.
dreaming big. I'm no longer my only dream right now is to find another Balbino Guerrero, to pass the torch.
Okay.
I mean,
You're to replicate yourself or add more others. More
influence other people to love heritage. Let kids go on with the fight, because I don't want to see myself fighting until the day I die. I had in some times before I die, I had to stop thinking of heritage. I have to stop thinking of, because doing heritage advocacy job, it only offers you heartaches. I don't want to die of heart attack because of heritage structure being destroyed. Now, recently there's the big Villa Eleton house in Barili is being destroyed because a shopping mall is going to be built there, and people are accusing me of by the way, I own the Cebu Heritage Watch Facebook page, and they are
We will
accusing
link
me.
it.
They're accusing me of being recently. Just now, I answered a post that accusing me that I am the former mayor of or a people from the former mayor. They thought that
Turn it into
that
politics.
there's no. And people were accusing me that the page is one-sided. Yes, this is a one-sided page. It cites heritage advocacy. So I don't want to die bitter. I want to live a happy retirement where I just be chasing my dogs or cats or until the day I die.
So
I don't
you want
want to be-
your legacy to be like to influence or more.
I think I have influenced already somebody. My niece is taking up the tourism. I have his cousin wanted to become a tour guide, so he joined the tourism club. So I see people who are now very passionate in the fight of in heritage advocacy fight. So I maybe produce some more and then
Chill.
and chill and wait for me for thy kingdom come. It's wala nang ano, parang there's no more ambition to. I'm good already. I'm not rich.
Satisfied? You're satisfied?
I'm not. When I was young, I wanted to become a millionaire, but
Things change.
yeah, as you grow older, to become a million.
You're still gonna spend it anyway.
I mean, money is just money, and it's the important is
The
to
people
leave
you
footprints.
Yes. People
To
you
live,
impact.
yeah, to live, to be able to influence other people to do what you love to do, make another version of you, and they will become better, and
Continue the fight.
continue the fight, because heritage advocacy is and I although I'm inviting people, I'm also telling them that welcome to heartaches. But it's very satisfying. I mean, I could proudly, every time I pass by San Jose de la Montaña or now JP2 Avenue, I'm always happy that the trees is still standing there, because I wrote an open letter to the mayor who wanted to cut all those trees because of the ASEAN and the
Which trees again?
along San Jose de la Montaña, the one from SM to IT Park.
Yes, yes, yes. The
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
The
center
island, the
one?
island.
Yeah, those center island,
they're
those.
so nice.
Yeah, there's one mayor who wanted to cut it. Now he's gone. Thanks God.
The trees also in Osmeña Boulevard, I don't know if they're...
No, the trees on Osmeña Boulevard need to go. These are
Or are they gonna be transplanted? Or what are
no, these are non-endemic trees. These are Indian trees.
Invasive.
Nara?
The naras are to be earth-bold for the BRT. The trees are to be earth-bold and move somewhere else. But the ones in the middle of the those are Indian trees. Those are non-endemic.
Ano, the sides mo na akong
Yeah.
kasabot.
The sites, not all. Only very few. Only the ones that are going to be used as station for the BRT.
Because I saw man, nag-start na sila remove some. So, but I don't think all.
No, not yet. But it's going to be earth bold. It's going to be transferred. Everything. And should you want to adopt a tree, you could easily adopt a tree. Just call the Centro office. There's a form to be filled up, and you could adopt a tree.
What does it mean when you say adopt?
You pay for something or
They were like those trees that will be affected by the BRT project will be earth bold. They will dig and then transfer it
to
and
your
then
house?
put it into your house
As your property.
in your
Okay.
property.
That's
It's
interesting.
literally adopt.
Yeah, you adopt a tree
Okay.
because we need more trees, but we need also the BRT.
Development, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a
Compromise.
And it's compromise. And the stations of the BRT are designed to be very green. It collects the rainwater will be collected in a tank, and then it will be used to water the trees around it. And it has like natural ventilation and everything, solar panel and everything.
So any siratan niya ta. Any like last words or like invite people to heritage work or your Facebook page or whatever.
Of course,
I
my
will link it.
Facebook page is on the my personal and my Facebook page is on the link. If Vernon
will
would
find
not
it.
link it, I will. So you could find in the comment section. And also,
You can mention it na.
well, it's Balbino Guerrero for the page, and
Heritage Watch.
Cebu Heritage Watch. It has 900 followers already.
Oh, we need more.
So please join.
Is it a group or is it a page?
Page. And then also I own the Karaang Sugbo page. That has like 14,000
It has like mga old pictures.
old pictures
Of Cebu City.
Yeah, that's Karaang Sugbo. And my personal page, Balbino Guerrero. Please follow, please. It has 5 followers, so please add more. And it's kind of hard to invite you to this kind of work because this kind of work brings you heartaches. But I mean, the reward is out of this world. I mean, to be able when you grow old, to be able to tell your grandchildren that I was instrumental for that tree to still survive. I fought the
evil government.
I fought the advertiser who is advertising diaper and pooping on the virtues of lapu-lapu. I was able to stop that. I was instrumental for that diaper. So, ano lang. So, heritage advocacy is we should love our heritage because nobody would love it for us. We should love being Cebuano. We should love our language because nobody would love it for us. So like, matingala ka nga namang di man ko love sa mga tao. Kay, what imong kaugalingon, man imong hugugma. You have to love yourself first before people would love you. And you don't need, og sa greatest showman pa man,
kita.
you don't need to be loved by all the people. You just need the love of the people who matters.
Char. Quotable quotes. I will watch Greatest Showman now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Balbino. For the first episode of Podcast on the Go. Basin diri lang gyapon mi, yung mingaw man ang mingaw jud ning dapita. more
He's gonna continue filming here.
episodes.
Pero actually Vernon Go is guwapo in person. Not just photogenic. He's more guwapo in person na.
Bitaw bati man kulit
Yeah.
I will just edit it. So until next episode for the podcast on the go.